Hello everyone, thank you for joining us wherever you are. I'm Gulo from Jadi PNS, will be your host. Now we are with Dwi Riyan. He is a global landscapes firm, Wetland Restoration Steward 2023 from Indonesia. Hello Riyan, how are you?
Hi, Gulo. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. And yes, again, thank you so much for joining us. And we are really excited to have you here. And
Yeah.
Rian, could you please give us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and what you have been doing, and what you're currently doing right now?
Right. So hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Shreyan. So originally from West Kalimantan, specifically in Ketapang Regency, if you know the name of the regency, the southern part of the West Kalimantan province, and currently working as a sustainability analyst. So mostly working with the palm oil companies and also with the industrial forest plantation companies in Kalimantan to assess their sustainability program, also to see the conservation's based landscape in Kalimantan. So yeah, so mostly doing a lot of things related to business currently and also sustainability program and environmental program. Yeah.
All right, so it's kind of like mix of business and then sustainability and then nature. Do you enjoy
Yeah.
your work right now?
Yeah, very much. Because for me, environment conservation is a the and business, they have an intersections to each other. So that's why building a conservation program without the involvement with other stakeholders, for example, and also the other sectors would be hard currently because it's not only about nature, it's about human welfare as well. Yeah.
Nice, glad to hear that. And then, we are wondering when and where were you when, the first time you realized that you wanted to focus on environmental preservation?
I think the turning point was in 2015. I was joining the conservation camp in my regency. So it's an orangutan conservation camp. And that was the first time for me to witness the orangutan as well,
Orangutan.
where the orangutan, yes.
Wow.
Coming like orangutan was really the one that made me interest with environment, and I witnessed that this orangutan is endangered and linked to the forest destruction in our agency. From that, then I decided to be the volunteer in one of the first NGO that I was working with, called International Animal Rescue for Orangutan Sanctuary, and up until now. So it's been 8 years with NGOs, and my current office is not 100% NGOs. We are like hybrid because we are doing research and also consultations, but still. So yeah, so that's how it is. Then that make me then fall in love with environment and the dynamics within that.
Interesting how you're turning point, about orangutan and stuff. And
Yeah.
then, how are the issues of nature and climate change in Indonesia right now, based on your point of view?
In December, I joining the UN conference, so
Mm-hmm.
the CBD one in Montreal, and
Mm-hmm. In
what
Canada.
yes, in Montreal, that they produce a global biodiversity framework. And during that conference, I witnessed that environment issue,
Mm-hmm.
climate change, mention it, is not only talking about one countries. That's why they make a big conference for all
Mm-hmm.
of the country to contribute. So for me, it's not only about Indonesia, but also for the global community. They're now raising the awareness about environments, about climate change, because it is really happening now. And what I can say that there are a lot of governments as well. I mean, including our governments as well. We have a national biodiversity action plan in Indonesia that are willing to contribute as much as we can to save this environment. So it's really a global issues now.
All right. Can you mention specifically what was the most pressing, problems about climate change in Indonesia?
Well, the intersection with economics development. So it's not only in Indonesia, I think, because when we're talking about sustainable development goals is where the intentions of the government to make our development can align with sustainability. But then that's the problem, where we want to develop our economy, we want to develop our human welfare economically, but the things currently we need to compromise with environmental destructions. So that's the pressing point for me, where we need to really balance that. We need to really balance. And I'm working, like, for instance, now I'm working with the palm oil company, where there are a lot of positive things of palm oil company in terms of economy, but also there are a lot of negative things in terms of environments, because they destroy, for example, the biodiversity corridor where the orangutan is. Then it results to be the conflict between the orangutans and the human, and also it will make a negative impact both for the orangutans and for the humans. So I think when you ask about the pressing point, it's really about these intersections. That's why currently I'm working on these intersections issues, and it's really different. It's really dynamics as well to really sometimes stands on the economic side and the environment side, but we really need to be in the middle to find that win-win point, win solution between these two big issues sectors.
Interesting. You know, we talk about the problems the climate change caused, and then we need heroes how to combat the climate change. And this year, the good news is that you were selected as the Global Landscapes Forum Wetlands Restoration Stewards 2023. Congrats, Ian.
Thank you very much, Gulo.
Yeah, and then it means that you're in the category of wetlands. Please tell us about, what wetland is.
Simply as the land that covers with water. So that's wetland is. So the wetland area that maybe most of the people knows is the mangrove areas. So where the coastals and the terrestrial meeting in some point, and there are a lot of mangrove as the barriers of the coastal area to also protect the terrestrial area for seawater intrusions. So that's how wetland is. And now I'm working with the mangrove restorations program in our agency, in Ketapang Agency, West Kalimantan. And so it's all about wetland and also about the community living in the coastal area in our agencies.
Interesting about the wetlands. And there is another term called peatlands. What's the difference?
Peatland, so wetland is wet, but peatland is not necessarily wet. And maybe the most difference, the big difference of these two areas is the material of the land itself, because peatland is really minimum. It consists of minimum sand, because peatland consisting of many organic materials. So say it as like the dead animals, and then the leaf and stuff, and it makes a layers and layers for the peatland. But for the wetland, it's mostly the area. So it's consisting with sands, mostly with sands, with soil, and it covers with water. And the other differences of this land, this area, peatland, when there's a fires in the peatland, it would be really hard to make to make the fire disappear because of the layers of the peatland. It's like because when it burns on the surface of the peatland, it would be like go down until peatland can be like 15 meters deep. So it's really deep, and it's really dangerous when the peatlands like burning.
Yes, understand. Thank you so much for telling us the difference. And then we're back. We're talking about the GLF Wetland Restoration Steward. We're talking about the wetlands. So what happened to the wetlands in Indonesia?
So wetlands. So let's specify that with mangrove. Mangrove is one of the native plants that is grow in wetland areas. And one of the problems with our mangroves is, I think Indonesia is consisting of 23% of the global mangroves. but the rate of destructions of the mangroves in Indonesia is 3 times, even more than the destructions of the rainforest in Indonesia. While for the carbon sequestrations, like say it as a, like when people doing carbon offset, carbon absorptions, absorbs and stuff like that, mangrove can do 3 times than the terrestrial like trees. But is not a concern currently in our regency, in our specifically in our regency in Ketapang, because most people are doing with terrestrial. So they're doing a replanting on the terrestrial area. They forgot that we have another ecosystem, which is the coastal area. And currently the community that we are working with in the village now suffering with the sea intrusions that impact to the fertility of the farming land. So it's really big issues in our area. That's why we as a Pongo Ranger community then trying to work on this kind of issues, where try to compete and help our government as well to raise the awareness of like, hey, this is the problem that we have to solve together as well.
Yeah. So, after realizing those pressing wetlands problems, then you started Pongo Ranger Community. What is it?
Pongo Ranger, Pongo is the name of the orangutans. So yeah, so it's orangutan. But why Pongo Rangers? Because if you know, when I was child, there was a serials of Power Rangers. Then I decided with my co-founders like how to make it really ear-catching. It's like, okay, let's make it as a Pongo Ranger community. Then here we are. But the thing is, we met a Pongo Ranger because there was no youth community that can be a platform in our young generations in our agency. So, and Pongo Ranger is really a pioneer that that can give us a space for our young generation to speak. And at first, we were only focused on environmental educations, providing them about their own awareness about forest, peatland, and stuff. But now Power Rangers really looking not only in our terrestrial area, but also look in the coastal area where a very minimum organizations working on this. So it's basically a young people, youth organization in our agency here.
And it's based in Ketapang, West Kalimantan.
Yes. Yeah.
And you found it by yourself or?
3 of us. So I founded this organization with my other 2 colleagues, and we were in the same team in my first organization that I told you, International Animal Rescue. And then we were thinking like, okay, let's do something with our youth, and then we found Pongo Ranger Community, and now it's from 2017, so it's already almost 6 years. It's a youth community and still running and doing a program. Yeah.
So who are they? The other 2 people?
They are also the young people, same as me in our agency. But currently, Pongo Ranger is not only. At first, we were only consisting with some senior high school, but currently we really expand. We even have some of our members that help us remotely in Jakarta, in Bandung, because they really wanted to be involved in orangutan conservation at first, but now also about the coastal area preservations in our agency. So glad that these passionate young generations want to involve in such of our activities. Yeah.
Amazing, such a role model for the young people, you, Riyan.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then what is Pongo Ranger Community doing when we're talking about the climate action?
So as I mentioned, at first we were only we were starting our activity by providing an environmental education access, because it's really, the awareness was really low in our agency about orangutans, about a rainforest. So as a young generation, what we can do is we share, we give the awareness, because we don't have a like a capacity on research. But what we are doing so far is we try to really make our activity inclusive. So it's not only us, but we really kind of being passive aggressive with our government as well to involve in our activity. So that's what we called as a most collaborative approach as one of the value of our organizations. We really want to involve not only us as a young generations, but also the governments. We also work with teachers. Even we made a teacher trainings so the teachers can deliver materials to their students. We made a integrative activity on how to integrate environmental value in any subjects in our agency, so that the teachers that, like for example, teach English, they can also integrate the value of environment in their, like learning process. So that's all the thing that we were doing at first, but currently it's more broad, like, and various activity. Say it like we were last year we conducted the first women, so it's all young women activity to give them a capacity building as the nature warrior, and we produce a group that connect the culture of these young generations to do a weaving on our eco-polybags. So we introduced eco-polybags. Yes, if you also read my proposal in GLF, I want to also expand this eco-polybag introductions to some stakeholders in our agency, because they're doing a restorations, but still doing in with the plastic polybag. Where in our agency we have the potentials by our community to do a weaving on the eco-polybag from bamboo from nipah leaf. So we really do restorations with free plastic. So that's what our activity will be about as well with the restoration stewards this year. Yeah.
Interesting. Why do you educate them to produce eco polybag made bamboo and nipah? Why
I saw there was a market first. So because my background is was from NGO, and also that most of the NGOs in Ketapang, they're doing forest restorations, say it replanting and stuff. They can like replant on the 10 hectares of forest, degraded forest. But the thing is, I was thinking that this restorations activity is not comprehensively environmental friendly, because they're still using this plastic. Then we talked with the community in the village, and they made that kind of, it's not a polybag at first, so it's not like a container for them to as a kitchen materials and stuff. Then me and with our team in Pongo Ranger say like, oh, how about we can use this as the polybags? So then we tried with our first planting activities with mangrove as well, and it also helps. We didn't have a research on this, but we knew that our first planting activity with 500 mangroves, it really grows well. We can say like 70% of our mangrove with this eco-polybag grows well. So we think that it can be a source of economic for the community in the village as well. We also by also side by side, we give them an awareness about, okay, we do this restorations mangrove ecosystem, like a mangrove restorations program, but at the same time you can also earn money. It can be not, maybe it's a small money of the alternative livelihood, but we can start this. And because we know that there is a market of the NGO, at least currently in our agency, and we're going to see if there is another market that can help the community to purchase this eco-polybag, but also then at the same time contribute to the restorations program. So that's the link that we were thinking at first, like, oh, there is a market of this, let's do this.
That's really amazing storytelling, how you combine about the nature and also the economic opportunity for the local community, especially for the young, for the women and the young people. Wow, amazing. And then we're back. We're talking about the GLF Wetlands Restoration Stewards 2023. What do you get, Riyan?
So I think, well, at first they introduced they're gonna support us with funds, but for me, Global Landscape Forum is beyond that, because they have a very strong community globally, and they have a very strong network as well. I mean, in terms of the NGOs network, funding networks, they also give a capacity building. So I think it's very comprehensive program where we can implement our project, but at the same time, we can also enhance our capacity on such thing, on such issue that we are working with. And the other thing is I can also involve my team. At least 2 or 3 of my team can also involve in the capacity building, and GLF really opened that space. So for me, it's not only me, but also my team, then the community. So it's really comprehensive. That's why I'm very happy to be part of this, of the family of this program this year.
Yeah. So lucky and congrats again. And
Thank
then,
you. Thank you very much.
yeah. And what will you do with the GLF so much support?
So currently, so if we can say a number, our target this year with the funds, with the support of GLF, we want to plant another 2,000 of mangroves seedlings,
1,000.
and
Wow.
yeah, 2,000, and also we can plan more actually, because we also try to work with some other stakeholders in our agency. If you know campaign.com, we were also working with campaign.com, one of the platform fundraising,
Online.
and yeah, and also we were now building a communication relationship with one of the social enterprise from Singapore called Sustainable, if you know Sustainable as well. So yeah, so we are trying to get more people to be in this program, to be involved, because there's no restrictions of involving other stakeholders, and also for sure to involve the community in government. And the other target is also to strengthen the community as well, because we have 2 groups at least now: the farmers and the young, the women. So we have farmers that will support us, and we're going to give them a capacity building on how to maximize the seedlings of the mangroves. But for the women, we are also giving them the opportunity to do more on the, maybe more on the weaving as well, and also to see the market opportunity in, at least in our agency. So we are going to use this support not only to restore, but maybe the bigger part for me, because restoration is a restoration. So we plan it's going to grow, but the bigger part for me is how we can grow the community as well. Because when the awareness is growing, aligned with the growing of the welfare of the community, conservations will not be an issue in the community. So it will be like side by side between human and nature, because they have the benefits from the nature. So that's our dream, the big dream, how to really combine these two, the economy. So our big target is how to build the community welfare economically and ecologically.
Wow, that's inspiring. Such a visionary young leader you are, Rian. Yeah, when we're talking about climate change, climate action, people sometimes don't want to, pay attention. They don't want, always support us. But how do you get support from people around you for your climate action project in Pongo Ranger Community?
We cannot deny that for the young generations, like we really want to be in the age of like deeper in these generations. Like for example, how they really know growing with social media and stuff. We are doing a social media awareness, but on top of that, because we know that at the end of the day, our government, the one that making the policy, the one that's doing the holds the regulation, is the one that we should concern as well, beside the general awareness of our activity. So as I mentioned to you before, I really plant the value in our community to make our activity really inclusive. That's why we involve women, we involve a young generation, we involve farmers, we involve a government, we involve an NGO. We also involve a social enterprise as a business sector. So we really want to make these whole stakeholders see this small project. I know this is a small project, but by showing this to them, like we hope that they can also give something based on their position. So for example, like business operation, maybe, oh, we have such a, for example, they have such a CSR for the community. So otherwise, that other than only doing a CSR for such things that is not sustainable, why not doing this, doing something on replanting and building this community economically and ecologically, as I mentioned to you before, as well as to the governments as well. Because government has a planting program, but sometimes they're doing a planting in the wrong time of season. That's why the growth of the mangroves now being useless, because it's going to be distracted because of the tidals and stuff. So that's all. That's the small things that we want to see the government also see this. So when the government have a program of 10,000 of mangroves, they really can see the area that really need that and the seasons. Because when we talk with the local government, we're also talking about that, why we choose this month, why we choose this number of mangrove and stuff. We know we are not an expert, but our government really now they are starting to also see how the young generation really want to contribute as the bigger number of us, because I think the young movement currently globally now getting higher and higher. So government now to try to open their eyes. So see, this is the youth can do and help. We are not going to teach you, but we are helping you. So that's the thing that we really want to show the stakeholders in our agency, at least.
Wow, wow, wow. Such a optimistic young people to inspire other people. Then Rian, last but not the least, what would be your message for young people out there about the wetlands?
Well, there is no land that is more important than other lands. So all of the ecosystem matters. All of the ecosystem hold the responsibility to save our lives. So that's for us in Pongo Ranger community. We were born from the terrestrial areas, but we then conscious that our ecosystem is not only a terrestrial area, it's not only forests, it's not only a green economy. We have a blue economy potentials. We have a wetland, we have an oceans, we have a mountains. So those areas is really important. They're equally important for us. That's why do something, take our part. No matter how small is it, it will have a contribution to save our environment, because it's seriously a problem right now. But we just need to take an action on how we can do as a personal, as a persons can contribute to this kind of issues. Yeah.
Great message. Dwi Riyan, thank you so much for your inspiring story.
Thank you, Mas. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you so much. It's so inspiring and informative. And again, thank you everyone for joining us. Let's collaborate to make this world into a better place. I'm Gulo from Jadi PNS. Thank you and see you again.
Bye.